There we go. Make sure I got all my camera set up. Right on. Astrid, how you doing? What's going on? Good evening, everyone. How we doing? You never realize how dirty your glasses are until you start looking up at the lights and seeing how much crap is on them. I swear. I could not touch these things all day, and there'd still be just fuzz all over them. Anyway, how's everyone's weekend? What'd you guys do? What are you up to? We got a couple storms rolling through. I know, I guess Hurricane Beryl is going to roll up into Texas. Mailing away, right on. Doing good. How about yourself? Ghosting Society. I'm doing all right. Glad to hear you're doing good. Ghosting Society. Is that like escaping to the woods? Just be like, yeah, I'll be there, and then just never showing up. All right, where am I at here? So, for those of you who don't know, my name's Sean. I run mailworks.com. I design and sell chainmail-themed apparel and accessories, and I make cool stuff out of chainmail, like cubes and monkey fists and escaping society. Yeah, okay. This is a Japanese 4-in-1 jelly cube, right? And the weave I use to make this is called Japanese 4-in-1. And what I am currently working on is this behemoth right here, where I used small rings to make big rings and then wove the big rings together in a Japanese 4-in-1 pattern. And we're going to make a big cube out of it as a sculptural piece. I've got a few strands of Byzantine to add here. I need a total of 28 more strands of Byzantine to finish this first layer. Before, like, I've already started adding some of the bigger rings here. And then I realized that I really needed to put in these little blackened stainless strands of Byzantine, right? Because the big rings are not round, and so they don't hold themselves in place the same way these round rings do, right? They kind of slide past each other and get stuck. So I need 28 more of these before I can start really building on the next layer. I need 380 total of these, so that's fun. Need a break every once in a while. Absolutely. So I'm going to add 4 of these strands to this ring right here. And then we'll add, I changed my username. Well, I added a nickname. It's only going to be up there for, like, I can go back and change it once every 7 days or something, but I was just screwing around. How you doing, Rat? What's going on? Finishing up a top, then working on your big cube on a live in a bit? Right on. Deadpool Scan, that's what you noticed? You noticed that I changed my name? I'm sorry. I posted a comment on someone else's video, and another follower confronted me and was like, I had the name Combat Crochet instead of Mailworks because, like, this is chainmail and it's metal, and, you know, it's like, it's night knitting, KNIGHT knitting, right? Or medieval macrame, or combat crochet, right? It'll all be on a t-shirt. And so I had commented on someone else's video, and another follower was like, why are you using the Mailworks logo? And I had to be like, no, calm down, it's me. I'm just screwing around because, I don't know, it's social media. And yeah, my business name is Mailworks, and, you know, that's all well and good and everything. But don't take life too seriously, you know? Doing okay, busy few weeks, but I have good news. Most likely cancer-free. That is good news, being cancer-free. That is probably some of the best news. I'm glad to hear it. All right, let's see if I can get this first one. Did I finish the green one? A. Fuller. Yes, I did. I've got like a few... What's that doing over here? The like loops across the top need another row of rings to kind of fill them out a little more. And then I missed a row on one of the dags on the bottom that I gotta add. And then I need a spear. And I will hang it up on the wall. So it's actually like right over there. If you give me a sec, I will grab it and hold it up for you. All right. So, Rat, can I ask why we thought we had cancer? Like, if we got a diagnosis that says we are cancer-free, then what was the cause of what is going on with you that made you think you might have cancer, and is that situation resolved also, or do we just have a cancer-free diagnosis? And then we have symptoms, but we don't know what else is going on. It's not my business. You don't have to share it. But I am curious if you don't mind sharing. It's up to you. So either way, I'm glad you're cancer-free. That's a good first step. All right, come on. Let me get this ringing, A. Fuller, and I will grab the big Finnegan's Wake inlay to show you. Come on. There we go. All right. It was a mass in your chest. They did a scan. It looked okay, but they'll need to monitor it. Okay. All right, let me grab the Finnegan's Wake inlay real quick. All right. For anyone watching on Twitch, YouTube, X, or Facebook, there's almost not enough room to turn this around in here. I just hit the camera. So here is the finished Finnegan's Wake inlay. I will try and get as much of it on camera as possible for you. There's the top. And then there's the bottom. I can't see if I'm showing this to you or not. I don't have the room. Everybody get a good look? It does have leather along the back, providing it with a nice background. All right, let me put this down. All right. Okay, I'm gonna fix my cameras here. Back up. There we go. All right. Unless you get a biopsy to 100% confirm or deny the presence of cancer, you'll most likely talk to your pediatrician about it because your risk will increase as you get older. Thank you, Astrid. Almost rather know 100% of or if it isn't cancer. Yeah, if you can get a biopsy, that'd be great. Not the end of the world if you don't. You should have like cancer markers in your lab results that should give a more definitive answer. I am not a doctor. I am a nurse, and I have been practicing for 20 years, so don't take anything I say as medical advice. Consult your doctor. But I do know a few things. Yeah, I would get a biopsy if I could. All right, so your ER nurse, right on. No, come on. What am I doing wrong here? Why isn't this lining up? So, but yeah, if I was the patient, I would want to know. Alright, so that was the Finnegan's Wake flag, and it's all done, and I need a, I think I'm going to go to the Renaissance Festival and buy a spear for it, instead of hanging it from the dowel that it's currently on. I just think it'll give it a nice... When I was looking up tapestries to model it after, a bunch of them were hung from spears and halberds and stuff, and I was like, oh, you better believe I'm going to do that. All right, where are we at? Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. So, and then the last thing, I need some cool wall hooks. I haven't found anything. I was looking for Celtic-themed wall hooks, but I haven't found anything that I really like, whereas I have found some cool wall hooks, which would work just as well. So we'll see. Connor, how you doing? The thing is, insurance might not cover it because the scan guy said it wasn't necessary. No, I completely understand that. That's what insurance will cover and what it won't is a huge issue. But as long as you're monitoring it for no changes and you're not having any other signs or symptoms, then hopefully that will be enough. And also, I don't know anything about doing this because I've never done it, but I've heard of people writing their insurance company, like, who is saying that I don't need the biopsy? Are they a doctor, or are you an insurance company illegally practicing medicine? Sarah, how you doing? Connor, we are making... Okay, so this is your standard chainmail jelly cube, right? The weave used to make it is Japanese 4-in-1. Just means that each ring has 4 rings going through it. And so I took a bunch of small rings and made them into big rings, and then wove the big rings together, and we're making a cube out of it, out of the big rings. And then we're adding these Byzantine spacers to help hold everything in place, because these big rings are not round, and they kind of slide past each other. So, all right, I have a problem. I need to add one of these, but all the rings to add them are buried underneath my finished chains here. So these are all the big rings right here. They're all ready to go. And the bigger this project gets, the more I'm considering adding to it. So we'll see. We'll see how big we make this. All right, good. Just wrapped up being in Battlemore in Colorado for the week. What a blast. Right on. Rat, I have been good. You have a big ring. Yeah, these are... Look at the size of it. It's huge. Do I have an Etsy? No, I do not have an Etsy. Watson, how you doing? I have a regular website. It's mailworks.com. So if you go to my bio, or if you go to my page on TikTok, there's a link tree there, and my website's listed in there, as well as the MailWorks app, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. Okay, I don't need to remove that many more. My desk is getting crowded again. I just finished up that Finnegan's Wake flag, and now I've got this project taking up all the space. So the reason I'm adding this big ring first is so that I don't throw these black and stainless rings in the wrong place. Does that make sense? Magenta, how you doing? Hell yeah, you give it a look. Yeah, Watson, so I don't sell like chainmail stuff. I sell chainmail print apparel and accessories, right? Finally got in the Discord, right on. You'll get the cube done eventually, yeah. So I realized early on that despite my desire to cover the world in chainmail all over the place, I simply could not physically make enough chainmail to cover the world, right? And I want different pliers for this. Where are my... Huh. We will use these ones. Can't make enough chainmail to cover the world, so I was like, all right, we'll do the second best thing, which is clothe the world and make blankets for the world that are chainmail themed. Stuff like that. So occasionally I will take a commission here and there. Those are few and far between. Just because I don't carry supplies like other chainmail artists who do take commissions. So I'm not set up. But occasionally I will have supplies on hand for a project someone wants. All right. Okay. It's going to get tricky to add these as this project gets bigger. I'm going to be weaving upside. I'm going to be weaving rings upside down and backwards here, like quite a bit. So, it's fine. This is fine. Complete and utter chaos, but it's fine. All right. Yeah, I was able to change the link for the Discord to update it. I guess I had an expiration date on the last link, but the link that is currently in for the Discord should be good for a good long time. We'll see what happens. Because you can like set an expiration date. Cubes are done a lot. I might need to mix it up and do a pyramid or D13 or something. Yeah, I would like to experiment more with cubes, like and shapes and stuff that you can make with them, but I have not had the time. And when you're doing, let's see here, the Finnegan's Wake inlay had 35,000 rings in it, something like that. This has 42 as of right now. We might go bigger. This cube will have 44,000 when it's done. I don't even know if I'm going to finish it this year. And then I've got this cube that I hope to raffle off at some point. And that's another 20,000. So I don't know. I'm just busy. Matt, how you doing? We're making a giant jelly cube using big rings to make small rings, and then weaving the big rings together to make a cube, essentially. I will hold it up for you in just a second. So this is the base layer of our cube. And if you get a good look, you can see the big rings are made of small rings. And it is going to be a sculptural project, one of, I'm hoping 15. Right? I want to have 15 pieces ready to go when I start looking for a gallery to display them at. Right? I might only make it to 10. 10 is my minimum. And this has already taken like 4 months so far. Maybe a little less. So it's going to be a while before I have that many done. We will see. Oh, I need to add a ring here. Ton of work to do. But it's one of those things that I want to be known for making chainmail. And I want to set myself apart somehow. Like, I think I'm the only chainmail artist who sells chainmail themed clothing. I'm 99% certain I'm the only one. So that's nice to set myself apart that way, but also to be an excellent artist on top of just someone who makes chainmail is also a goal. So a lot of projects to do, a lot of big projects. It's one of those projects that looks terrible until it's done, and then it'll be legendary. But you think this looks terrible? Holy hell, how heavy is this bad boy? I don't know. Magenta, I'm sure you meant that in the nicest way possible. I don't know if it I don't know if the text is carrying the context. You know what I mean? So, how heavy is it? I think it's like 6 pounds right now. No, I just put all those on my lid that I was using. I'm also a legendary person. Aw, thanks. I just try to be a good person. Most of the time. Your fault, brother. You meant the project? Oh, you mean how much does the project weigh? Yeah, I don't know. My kitchen scale, the thing I would use to weigh it is being used right now, and I don't have another lid. All right. We can see if the kitchen scale will weigh this. We'll see. Give me a sec. Because I would like to know too. Oh dear Lord. Too much crap up here. You did. It's just so complex of a structure that it's hard to figure out and see. Oh yeah, okay. I gotcha. It is difficult to see what the end result will look like. 100%. I figured that was something that you meant. I figured that you meant something like that. Oh, we can just use the box. Okay, we'll just use the box. On 0. Okay, actually no, we want to put the box on there first. Then we'll 0. Okay, the box is 3.1 ounces, but we 0 that out. Okay, right now, yeah, it's 6 pounds, 14 ounces. 6 pounds, 13.9 ounces. Okay, if you get a kitchen scale like this, or if you get a pair of digital calipers, be sure to turn them off. I thought they would just like go off on their own eventually, and they do, but your battery dies really fast. But yeah, magenta, it is difficult to tell what this looks like. Jeez, I'm freaking Daffy Duck over here. It's difficult to look at what it looks like. Looking at it right now. But adding the black and stainless, right, especially from this perspective, like really just starts to visually separate everything. And so I'm glad I did that. Even if the black and stainless isn't as black as I would like. And as it gets built up over time, the finished product will be totally different looking. So, yes. Thank you. Alright. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Alright. So, but yeah, this is coming along. I don't know how large it's going to be when it's done. I haven't decided on when I'm going to finish. And here's the thing, right? Okay, so I've got a few more big rings in here. You can see these strands over on the side, right? But then the half of this bin is all additional rings that I ordered that I didn't mean to, right? I miscalculated a lot, right? So what am I going to do with those rings? I might do a couple things, I don't know, but making the cube bigger is an option, so we'll see. Thank you for the follow, appreciate it. Still looks insane, even if it isn't even close to being done yet. Thank you. Yeah, there we go. I'm glad I put this in here. It's an interesting concept. I hope it turns out. It might not. That is always a possibility. And if that's the case, then, you know, I'll have this big lump of chainmail that kind of looks like crap. But if I can pull it off and it is successful, then it should be really freaking amazing. And, yeah. Hopefully it will sell for a lot of money. We will see. We will find out. That's the thing too, right? Putting time... I could be selling necklaces and bracelets and earrings and armor pieces, and I could. I would like to do that again one day. I have done that in the past. I don't have anything against it. But I feel like there are a lot of people who already do that. And they do really good work. And while there are not a lot of chainmail artists in the world, and there's not enough custom chainmail being made for people, then there are still, you know, plenty of people who do it already. And I would rather, when someone asks me for something, I would rather be like, yo, check out, is Sarah still in here? Or Astrid? Copious Collections and Astrid Wolf that were in my comments earlier, they both do custom chainmail work. Right? Whereas I'm not set up for that. It's going to be a long time before I get set up for that. I'm hoping some point. We'll see what happens. But it's gonna be a bit before that occurs. And so in the meantime, I'm using up all the rings that I have in my basement, and I'm trying to only order what I need to finish. Wow. That was not fun. That made me jump. You can get very hurt making chainmail, just FYI. Okay, it will turn out. Positive affirmations. Yeah, mud flaps and bumpers. There are already plenty of people who I can point to and say, and support, and go, yo, this person makes what you're looking for already. They're probably already set up to make any changes to it, you know? Whereas I can do this, and I think this is really cool. So I'd rather gamble on putting a lot of money towards making really unique chainmail pieces than, you know, making stuff that I'm pretty sure would sell, right? Because this stuff might never sell. We'll see. If at the end of the day it doesn't sell, guess what? I have a bunch of really cool chainmail stuff in my house. So either way, I'm okay with it. Pass it on. I'll probably have like 2 metric tons of chainmail items by the time I move on to the next life, and my kids will have to hire big burly movers to come and pick it all up because it'll be so heavy. Just like craning my chainmail collection up out of my basement. I think that would be amusing. Alright, now that I've added this ring, there's no more room, really, to work. So it gets really tight when you're trying to add these. So that's not fun, but that reminds you need to put chainmail on your birthday wish list. There you go. Yeah, everybody needs a little piece of chainmail. Right? Whether you make it yourself or if you grab it from a Renaissance festival or a vendor somewhere this year, get yourself a little piece of chainmail. They're tactile, they're fun to play with, they're cool to look at and study, like just the weave and how it was put together. And one thing that I want to do, okay, so there's commercial photography, right? You go into Target and you go and look at the wall art that they have, and you will find huge, prints of photographs that people have taken. And, you buy the print and it makes a nice piece of art for your wall or your office or, your hallway in the hotel you work at, whatever, right? So one of the things I would like to do is get some high resolution photos, like some black and whites of these larger sculptural pieces that I'm going to try and make. And then license it so that one day a picture of my work might be hanging up in some dentist's office somewhere. Right? I think that would be ridiculously cool. So, and for all you aspiring artists out there, just know that that is a thing. You make a really cool piece, spend $300 on a photographer, maybe 4, get them to take some really high quality pictures of your stuff. I think that this would look really good on a coffee table. with a little bit of sunlight and some black and white on it. Black and white filter. Alright. You need to figure out how to chrome plate stuff, although the bumper might look better blackened. I think you should try and blacken it. The chroming chainmail does not really work. Like chroming, Cerakoting, painting, almost none of those applications are, because the rings touch each other and you cannot get the media in between the rings, you'll always have spots on all your rings. So I think blackening is a better idea. But I'm not you. You do what your heart desires. Anyway. So okay, just like, I haven't done it yet, but I've been talking about it for years. Trying to get my chainmail designs that I've done for my clothing and blankets and stuff like that. I've talked about putting my designs up on Spoonflower, right? I don't know if they'll sell. They might. I think cosplayers everywhere would rejoice. We'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But that is an avenue, a stream of income, right? That I would like to add in addition to doing custom work, making sculptures, my online store, right? So just like that is an additional stream of income, I would like to add high resolution photographic prints of my stuff and sell them at places like Target. You know, the bumper will be big rings and they'll be welded to eliminate movement. If you can like chrome it as one piece, that'd be pretty cool. All right, this is where it gets tricky. I don't have enough. Yeah, I don't have enough room. That's fine. Come on. All right, and I don't know if it would work, right? I don't know if high resolution photographs that were turned into big poster prints for dentist offices is a thing that would sell, right? I don't know. It might not. But I want to look into it once I get this done. Because then it's like, you know, you license out the image and you get collect a royalty from it. Boom. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, and scammer gets scammed. All right. So we have 3 rings in place on the next layer. I should do right here next because I'm running out of room. Is that a cube made out of rings of rings? Yeah, Bacon Bro, how you doing? All right. So the big rings are made up from smaller rings. And then the blackened stainless chains are just to help hold everything in place. And it's giving it a nice, what do you call it? A visual, like, it helps pull apart the image when you look at it, right? Have to heat them to remove the hardness, recoil to specific size. Yeah, that is absolutely absurd, man. You're good? That's good. That's so cool. Thank you. Oh, thank you for the dinos. Appreciate you. So, yeah, it's an absurd project. And hopefully it will turn out really well and I will make a lot of money on it. Cross your fingers. Okay. Large ring number 2. Is giving biblically accurate angel. Nice. Yeah. So I need to be careful moving forward. Right? I added these Byzantine chains to this ring here, and now I don't have a lot of room to attach the next big ring here that I'm trying to thread through. There we go. So what I need to do is, I don't know, I need to figure it out because like there's just not a lot of room. It's okay. It'll be fine. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. All right. Now hold your position there. Grab a couple of rings. Grab my other pair of pliers. You know what's crazy? So these are spring steel rings. These 16 gauge 3/8 rings that I'm using. And I have, slipped on them with these pliers. These old pliers my grandpa gave me that have teeth. And usually with any other ring, the teeth will mar the rings. But with these spring steel rings, it's not touching them. It's not doing anything to them. So it's kind of nuts. What am I doing? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, so and then the fun thing about spring steel rings is that they don't like to close very easily. So have fun with those if you ever buy any. Okay. Kind of glad I made the decision to add some of the big rings tonight instead of adding all the blackened stainless, right? I've been closing the blackened rings for several days now, and I only have a few thousand closed. And I'm pre-closing them because they are out of round, and so they have very sharp edges because they're out of round. And I have my bin here, right? It's only, I don't know, a quarter full. That took me several days. So this container full of rings, and then I have one more container. All of those, here. All of those, it's going to take a hot minute to correct that issue, but it is what it is. Like, oh, the things we'll do to get the project as perfect as we can. So, but this feels like progress. You know what I mean? Feels like we're getting somewhere. You might be getting your first chainmail commission. It's for a friend's mom who loves Ren fairs. Right on. Very cool. Got your auto insurance bill for next year, 35% increase. That's, did you add a vehicle or add a driver, or is that just on par with the insurance hikes we're seeing across the country? is I had a homeowner's insurance hike about 2 years ago. It's like a 10% hike. I'm trying to think. But my insurance comes like straight out of my checking account, so I don't even know how much it is. Must be insurance hike. You expect it to go down since you decrease coverage. Interesting. You decreased coverage. I could do that. I don't want to. I have full coverage on my truck. My truck's been paid off for years, and my truck's been doing fine. It's been doing good. But I feel like the instant I decrease the insurance to liability only, then I will get T-boned like immediately. Like I won't even be driving. My truck will just be in the driveway, and someone will smash into the side of it. That's how afraid I am of dropping coverage. And especially with so many drivers running around without insurance. Especially here. Do I have enough room to... I have enough room, but I can't see. I don't like this position. The only thing that's been going on with me is, did I tell you guys about my fight with the HOA? So our HOA is really useless. Nobody abides by any of the rules they have, and they don't enforce any of them. So I was like, I didn't sign up to be in an HOA when I moved into the neighborhood. An HOA wasn't on my paperwork anywhere. So I never signed for anything. And they're like, oh, but you still have to pay. And I'm like, do I? Bet. Okay. What am I making? Caleb, I'm making a giant cube. I will hold it up for you in just a second. So anyway, I didn't pay. And then they sent me a huge bill after like 5 years. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to pay that. Also, I'm a 100% disabled vet, and in your bylaws, it says that you don't charge 100% disabled vets, so I'm really not going to pay it. Hear me out. What if insurance was reasonable about things? All right, $1,500 for insurance this next year. Okay, Caleb, before I get too engrossed in this next. So this is Japanese 4-in-1. It's a weave used to make chainmail cubes, and the big rings are made up from little rings, and the black and stainless is just to help hold everything in place. And then this is kind of the what we're going for, but physically much larger scale with fewer rings, kind of. What if insurance was reasonable about things? Then, I don't know. I don't think that will ever happen. We will see. Okay. I personally believe that insurance is largely a scam. It's a legalized scam that they make you have, and that there are better ways to go about protecting people that get into accidents and get hurt, and protecting drivers who are victims of other drivers driving badly. I think there's better ways to go about doing it than insurance the way it currently sits. Same with healthcare. I think that most healthcare in the United States today is largely a scam, as far as the pricing goes, and a lot of times as far as the care goes, to be honest. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Plan on going to your agent tomorrow to ask about it? I would, especially if you decrease coverage and you're still getting a rate hike. I don't know anything about insurance, except that I have to have it. So, and that companies like State Farm get constantly caught trying to, like they will, if say you have full coverage on your house, right? Homeowners insurance that you're required to have for your mortgage, right? Tornado comes through, blows your roof off. State Farm's only going to pay for 3/4 of the cost to replace your roof, right? And they just got like sued for that. But of course, it was cheaper for them to screw all their customers out of 1/4 of the roof payment than the fine that they received for not paying it, right? Like, they saved themselves $20 billion by not paying for that 1/4 of a roof. And I'm just pulling numbers out of my head here. But then they would only be fined like $1 billion. I mean, what would insurance look like if we had universal health care like other countries? Okay, hang on. Where are we at here? That's a hot topic. You hate your HOA? Yeah, I'm not a fan of mine. It's like, leave me alone. You don't enforce rules on anyone. Nobody abides by your rules. Nobody cares. Just dissolve the HOA. I don't care how important it makes you feel to be treasurer of the HOA. Just, I don't want to talk to you ever. I certainly don't want to get letters in the mail saying I owe you money. All right. Please don't even talk to me about health insurance. So, yeah, health insurance on its face. So, the state of healthcare in the United States has so many third parties dipping into the cost structure of everything that it is just find a doctor that takes cash if you can. And if you can't afford insurance, just find a doctor that takes cash. Right? Easier said than done, I know, because current incentive structures, but all of your healthcare costs are set by Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, right? And that is what doctors negotiate against every year and what pharmacies negotiate against every year so that they can turn a profit. And then you got to pay everyone in HR and administration of the insurance companies and of the hospitals. And, these aren't people directly involved in your healthcare, but they get paid by the healthcare system. So, the cost of your healthcare goes. That's why a $1 bag of normal saline costs $1,000 when given to you in the hospital. So, it's having worked in healthcare for 20 years and watching this happen, the current way health insurance is set up in the United States is a complete scam. So, I don't know. Don't pay your medical bills. Just go bankrupt. The hospital will write it off as a loss on their taxes. You're insuring a school bus converted into a motorhome. Yeah. No, I mean, I can understand it being high, but also a 35% increase. Like, did drivers get that bad? Did they get 35% worse? What changed? What was the metric on the actuary tables of the insurance company that said your insurance needs to go up 35% when you're decreasing coverage, right? I don't know. Sounds weird to me. You're so scared to look at the hospital bill for the car accident, especially because you were a trauma. Oh yeah, it's $1 million. It's $1 million, billion, trillion dollars. For sure. Anything like, I think life flight bare minimum is 10 grand. right? $10,000 charge. No, maybe that's no. Yeah, it's like 10 grand or something. Whoa, Louie, how you doing? A ride in an ambulance is minimum like $1,500, and that's if you're like a member of their ambulance subscription plan. And if you're not a member of their ambulance subscription plan, it's like $5,000. Get MedFlight insurance? Yeah, absolutely. Watching the Hurricane stream by Reed Trimmer and playing Dead Island 2. Right on. Barrel. Correct me if I'm wrong, is a beryl not an emerald? Does anybody know that off the top of their head? I think a beryl is an emerald. Good thing you don't need to worry about it. That's your dad's problem. The ambulance was low-key fun, though, yeah. Yeah, I think a beryl is an emerald. And a ruby is a red sapphire. I'm 99% certain that one's true. A rock person who loves rocks. You know the rock kids? You know you have dinosaur kids and you got rock kids? Yeah. So a rock kid told me that a sapphire is a ruby. I believe them. All right. Where are we at? What is an ambulance subscription? When I lived in Texas, the local ambulance company sent out a flyer stating that for like, I don't know, $20 a month or something, if we had to take an ambulance ride for any reason, and they were the service provider for the area, then we could subscribe for $20 a month or $50 a month, something like that, and our ambulance trip would only be like $1,500. But if they had to come pick us up and we weren't part of their subscription plan, then it would be like $3,000 to $5,000. Now, this was a flyer I saw years ago. I'm not 100% sure on the details, but I do remember it being a thing. Beryl, green beryl does not equal emerald. Okay, actually emerald and aquamarine are beryl. I'm getting mixed signals here. Am I wrong about sapphires too? Sapphires, ruby being just a red sapphire? Maybe a beryl. A beryl is a green gem of some sort. A beryl is not an emerald, but an emerald is a beryl. Okay. This is like... I forget what the name of his stream is called, but Thor from Blizzard, right? I'm sure you guys have seen the TikToks of him. Was going over... Someone told him that corn is a fruit, and he looks it up. Corn is a kind of fruit, right? And then he thinks about it for a minute, and then he goes... Whiskey is ketchup. And it's like, a beryl is not an emerald, but an emerald is not all barrels are emeralds, but all emeralds are barrels. Okay, so I'm half right? I don't know. One day I'll be like, Jamie, look that up. Sapphire and rubies are not beryls? No. A ruby is a type of sapphire, according to what I've been led to believe. And the only reason I care about rubies being sapphires and finding that an interesting thing to know is that my birthday is this month, and the stone of this month is a ruby. All right. So now, got to add some more blackened stainless, right? I'm not gonna add the other large ring over here. I want to get some black and stainless on these 4 rings I have put in place, and I still got to finish the outer edge, so I'll keep working on that. But you're looking at the ENWP page on it. What is ENWP? Not entomology. That wouldn't make sense. I don't know. Rock starts with R. Oh, English Wikipedia. ENWP. Okay. I got it. Alright, where am I at here? We need more strips of black and stainless. We'll add this one and then work on... I have some half prepped over here. Okay. You're looking at English Wikipedia as opposed to like Canadian Wikipedia or US Wikipedia, or as opposed to like Spanish Wikipedia. Looks like ruby and sapphire are same family, but one is not the other. Like all rubies are sapphires, but not all sapphires are rubies. Like all emeralds are beryls, but not all beryls are emeralds. Yeah. Okay, so I think that I was correct in listening to the Rock Kid tell me that rubies are sapphires. I don't know. I don't know anything about stones except that peridot is my son's birthstone. Ruby is mine. Fucking... What is February's? I know that I know it. Because I bought my wife's stuff with whatever the stone was. Anyway. Not important. That's the only thing I know about rocks. And that I like to go look at them in nature. Not like mines, you know, not like opal mines or diamond mines or anything, but like the Grand Canyon. I like to look at those kinds of rocks. Rock formations, if you will. You don't have to trip. So I went and saw rubies are red because of chromium. That's awesome. Is that healthy for you? Like, don't ingest it, I guess. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so I went and saw Inside Out 2 in theaters with the family the other day. It's a very good movie. I enjoyed it. I had fun. And Victor, how you doing? I'm working on, this is the bottom layer of a big cube, right? Uh-oh, puzzle piece of death is coming. Come on, hurry up. I ain't got all night, man. Give me a second here and I will share more. There we go. So, this is a chainmail jelly cube, and they're very wiggly and very fun, fidgety to play with, right? This one's like half done. The weave used to make this is called Japanese 4-in-1, which just means that 4 rings go through every ring except for the rings on the edge, right? I'm about to sneeze. And excuse me. This cube, I need to adjust. Those are out of those 3 are out of place. I gotta fix those. So I used small rings to make the big rings in this cube, and we are just building a large cube. So, where are you from? You live in Morgan City? I am in Wisconsin right now. I'm not from here. I just ended up here through no fault of my own. Thank you. I started out in, let's see here, I grew up in Idaho, joined the military, lived all over the place, and then I was in Texas for a number of years, and then me and my wife moved to Wisconsin about a decade ago now. Thanks for the follow, appreciate it. So, as this cube gets bigger, it will make more and more sense. But the reality is that I have 20,000 plus rings to correct, because all these little blackened stainless rings that I'm using are out of round, and I got to fix each and every one, so that is taking up some time. But then I will weave it all together, and it will be a big cube, and then I'm going to have to stop lifting it up. It's actually starting to hurt my arm a lot. Just because we weighed it earlier, it's 6 pounds, 14 ounces. So almost 7 pounds. As it sits right now. I bet with the addition of the big rings tonight, it's over 7 pounds. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3. 2. I'm going to say it's going to be about 40 pounds. That's my guess. When it's all said and done. Which is absurd. But it's a cool project. It'll be fun. That's what she said. That it's going to be about 40 pounds when it's done. So, anyway. I have these little, like, 5-lets of rings that I made before the stream. Because I was putting some of these... can you see it? It's got 2 rings going through 3 rings here. Right? 2 rings, then... Come on, cooperate. 2 rings, then 3 rings, right? So you make a bunch of these, and then you can just weave them into a Byzantine chain much more quickly. And since I already have all these pre-closed rings in the first place, yeah, it's going to cut down on some of the time of weaving, just not all of it. So I'm hoping to have this done the beginning of August. But the last time I put a deadline on a project was the Finnegan's Wake flag, and I said that I'd be done with it by the beginning of June. And guess what happened? I didn't finish it until the end of June. So I'm not going to put a timeline on this one. I just hope to have it done in the next 4 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. We will see. It is summertime. I do want to spend time with my family and be outside, because 9 months out of the year here, it is a frozen wasteland, and you can't go outside or do anything outside because it's just a miserable place. I have not acclimated to the weather up here. So for once it goes below 45 degrees, I don't leave my house unless I have to. I come out for Thanksgiving and Christmas, And then I am an inside person until summer rolls around. Because spring is miserable here too. It's one of those things that I question a lot, like, how and why did people end up settling here? And it's strictly out of necessity, because you got to have harbors that can import goods from, right? That's why there's Chicago. That's why there's Kenosha. That's why there's Racine. All these towns along the lake, they all have their trade routes for ships to come from the ocean through the Great Lakes down to Racine, Kenosha, Chicago, right, down to those harbors and drop off goods so that, you know, so this is like a hub, okay? That's the only reason it exists. Because people needed to receive goods and send stuff off. Not because they liked the weather. I could have been a prince in California on a really large ranch worth, you know, many millions of dollars at this point. And this is a true story. Someone unalived my grandpa when I was, before I was born, right? When my mom was a kid. And they were living in California at the time. And then my grandma gathered all the kids up and moved to Iowa, right? But they had a huge piece of property over on, in California, in a really, what is now a ritzy area, right? You like assembly batching a lot versus one ring at a time. Makes me feel more accomplished with piles of steps. Like making riveted rings, some processes are just better done in batches to keep the brain in dopamine while enjoying ADHD tasks of hanging out with folks, watching TV, listening to music, helping kids with math homework, just joining the stream in batches of 2 and 2 made before the stream. There you go. Yeah, like, I don't necessarily dislike the process that I'm having to go through by adjusting every ring, right? It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm closing rings. I close rings like all the time, okay? But normally I like to pick up a ring once, weave it, and then never touch it again, right? That's ideal. So, but because I have to adjust each of these rings and make, you know, get rid of all the sharp edges from them being out of round, I've ended up with this bin of closed rings and, you know, making the little fivelets and then weaving them together. Not the worst thing I've done, just, you know, not the way I would prefer to do it. So, what time is it? 9:45. Right on. Would it have been faster to make your own rings in the first place? Would it have been faster? Well, I will, I don't have the setup to make my own rings right now. And, like, I had older 16 gauge 3/8 rings on hand. And if I repeated the order in order to finish a product, I couldn't get the same ring, right? So fortunately, the spring steel rings had the same inner diameter as the rings I had on hand here at the house. So they fit the bill. But this is the whole, like, I'm using up what I have before I, you know, order new rings. And then I ordered new rings because I wanted to finish this project. I was like, all right, well, I originally wanted to make a dragon scale pine cone. Yes, Les, always faster to make new rings than reweaving rings. Well, these weren't, maybe a couple of them were rewoven, but most of them were, I just had a bin full of them. So I think I tore apart, maybe 2 projects that I had that I didn't really care for. But I had a large bin full of 16 gauge 3/8, this ring size. That I needed to use up, and so. Alright, where am I at here? Cleaner and neater pieces for perfection's sake, not the wallet's best option. How did I get into this? I was hanging out. I was an unruly child. My parents didn't want me around the house, so they made my uncle take me for a day. And I was hanging out with him, and he was my cool uncle. We used to, he used to run like haunted houses, and he was a smoke jumper, and now he runs one of the bricks and minifigs stores for the Lego resellers, right? And I was tagging along with him, and we stopped at a friend's house, and while we were there, I was reading a book, and he pulled out a European 4-in-1 piece of chainmail that he was working on, and he started weaving it together. And at that time, I was reading Salamandastron, which is a Brian Jakes book, and in that book, there is a badger who lives in a volcano, and he throws some special herbs on the fire of his forge and hallucinates and makes a spear so that he can go out and fight the vermin horde. And so I was like, yeah, I want to make arms and armor all the rest of my life. And my uncle comes out and starts making chainmail in front of me. And I immediately went home and started to piece together. Got a couple images off the computer. Got some wire from my grandpa, some snips, and a piece of rebar and some vice grips. And I made my first couple of little rings. And I've, been doing it off and on ever since. I've always wanted to try the special herbs on the fire that make you hallucinate technique of spear making. Seminole fan, how you doing? So, and now I have the largest selection of chainmail themed apparel and accessories of anyone, and I've probably done 1 million rings at this point. 1.5 million. And much more seriously in the last 10 years. The last 15 years. And now that I'm retired, this is what I do now. So, good, just tired. Sounds like salvia. Now, the way Brian Jakes writes the hallucination the badger in the volcano has is more of a, like an acid trip or shrooms or... Not that I would know. This is just like what I've been told. I've never done... I tried to smoke, the funny, I don't even know what the kids call it these days. That's how, like, not into substances I am. The ganj. Also, I don't know what I can say on any of these platforms, so. Looks like Astra's live now too. You should live together sometime or something. Yeah, so, like, I'm on TikTok here on my phone, and then I'm on Facebook, Twitch, X, and YouTube on my computer, right? And there's never, like, a lot of viewers from those platforms. But I do YouTube to, like, document this process. And so I usually, like, her and I would have to get together and do something separate from my 8:30 to 10 stream. So, sharpening process is called peening, and that the smith uses and hammers the edge harder till it embrittles it, but as sharpest it can be made now, and how sides were hardened and honed with a stone. Oh, cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, I like Yeetus likes to go live, and he likes to have a lot of people in his live. But I can't be on my phone live with someone who the rest of the streaming platforms can't see, right? So I don't know. And the like joint, okay, the joint lives that I've seen, like there's no direction. Everybody's just kind of rambling. And if I were to do something like that, like I would want to be interviewing somebody. Does that make sense? Yeetus, speaking to Yeetus, there he is. There is, like, I can understand the enjoyment of wanting to hang out with people online and have a conversation while you're doing something kind of monotonous that keeps your hands busy, right? I can understand that. But also, people don't watch those lives, right? Like, if you're in that live, you're in there to have a conversation with those people because you know those people, okay? It's how to differentiate this from, like, what I'm doing. I was talking about you and how you like to go live with a bunch of other people, right? So, if and when, right, I do any of those streams, it won't be 8:30 to 10. This will always just be me, right? But I've gone live with Yeetus before and hung out for a little bit. You know, I'm quite busy, so I can't do it all the time. But I try to engage like that when I can. And I'm just limiting it to just crafters. Probably a good idea. That is, you know, like I said, if I was going to do something like that with me and another person, I would want to be interviewing them as the entertainment for the stream for the viewers, as opposed to just having a meandering conversation with everyone. So, and only 4 boxes, yeah. So, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in that thought process, but regardless, while I am live on 4 other platforms, like, does that make sense? Like, I've got a couple viewers on a couple other platforms, and it, you know, I just don't think it's fair to them to pull up people on my phone to chat with when they can't see what's going on. So, but I would love to sit down and chat with Astrid and talk to her about her adventure of learning chainmail and favorite projects and stuff like that. The bracelet on my right hand. This is my right hand. Is this the hand we're talking about, or are we talking about this one? Wait, you said dragon scale, so I'm assuming it's this bracelet right here, right? That is interwoven 4-in-1. So everyone watching needs to follow and get you a TikTok stream key. I agree. But I've hit the threshold for getting a stream key, and I've gone live and I've met all the requirements, and I do not I cannot find where it would be. The places the internet tells me to look for the stream key, it's not there, and so I don't know. I don't know if I just haven't been given one, because just because you meet the requirements doesn't mean that they'll give you one, which is like weird. So I don't know. Just keep grinding it out, and you know, we'll get there when we get there. It's not about the destination. It's the journey. The treasure in, you know, the treasure in life really is the friends we make along the way, right? How did I make interwoven 4-in-1? I followed some instructions. Come on. And also, I had the right ring size. Or how do I do work that small? Pliers. Special pliers. Or, I don't know. Yeetus, what are you asking? How do I have the patience to connect 1,200 tiny little rings? Where did he go? Alright. Come on. Goodness. Alright, so we've got 3 done. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Looks like I'm just going to have time to finish this up. I won't have time to add any more. Alright. For anyone watching, my name is Sean. My usual username is Mailworks. And if you go to my page, you can see how that's spelled. There is a website in the link tree. There's an app in the link tree if you want to learn more about chainmail, and the app is filled with a bunch of resources to help you with that. If you want to like pick up a new hobby, you don't have to go as extreme as I am with this project right here. You can start making simpler stuff. Like, here are 2 fairly simple, fairly beginner projects. A couple of bangle bracelets that I made. This is Byzantine, and this one is half Persian 4-in-1, right? And they're not, you know, they're kind of tricky to get started, but, you know, definitely something anyone can learn. And you can find resources for all of that in the Mailworks app in the link tree on my bio. And there's also a Discord in there if you get stuck and have questions. And you can post your pictures and all kinds of fun stuff. So I've got enough little 5-lets to make one more, but I am out of time. All right, I try to be here 8:30 to 10 most nights of the week. It's summertime, and I'm like enjoying my summer. So I'm not always here, but especially once school starts, I'll get back more into a routine, and I'll be here more consistently. But I'm trying, you know, at least a few nights a week. And, yeah. So it is 10 o'clock. I do have some stuff I got to do before I go to bed. So this is, let me hold this up real quick. I'm not going to be able to hold this up much longer. That's the progress we made. We're building it up. Okay, we'll be adding some more black and stainless to it, and some more of the big rings coming up. And it's hopefully going to look really good. So, thank you, everyone, for hanging out. I do appreciate it. If you decide to go to my website, mailworks.com, and you want to get yourself something nice, you can use discount code LIVESTREAM, all one word, all lowercase, to get 20% off your order on anything you order. So that is my way of saying thank you for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. But I am going to get out of here. All right? Once again, that's discount code LIVESTREAM over at mailworks.com. You all have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you later. Bye.